Welcome back. The Bradenton Police Department is working with Tampa area police departments on a new initiative called Consent Florida.
The campaign is aimed at raising public awareness about sexual assault and training law enforcement how to deal with victims. ABC 7's Kate Flexter joins us now with the details. Kate?
Haley and Scott, Consent Florida is all about changing rape culture and talking to young people about what consent means, both legally and ethically.
The numbers are staggering. 1 in every 6 women has experienced sexual assault. Meanwhile, only 6 out of every 1,000 perpetrators spends a single day behind bars. Now local law enforcement says it's time to change those statistics.
It's horrific, the behavior that we're seeing, but we're a nation that shouldn't stand for this.
On Thursday, to a crowd of fellow officers, Bradenton Chief of Police Melanie Bevan addressed the issue and announced a new initiative called Consent Florida.
We're trying to send a clear message to any would-be assailant out there that no is simply just that simple. It means no.
The initiative has 2 main branches. One focuses on public outreach, educating students in high school and college about consent. The other includes training officers in how to handle victims of assault.
If they come to us, that we will have an ear, we will listen, and we will understand. That's part of the training that we're looking at.
Safe Place and Rape Crisis Center's Jessica Hayes says it's encouraging to see law enforcement taking steps to understand where victims are coming from and how to best help them.
It's really inspiring and encouraging to see a shift away, hopefully a shift away from this, putting the accountability on the victim to prove that it was not consensual, but really putting accountability on the perpetrator.
Plus, she says this may encourage victims to come forward.
If someone feels like they're going to be heard or they're going to be acknowledged the first time that they share their experience, I do think it will help them to feel more comfortable in coming forward, and we might see the numbers of those who report go up a little bit.
Chief Bevan says the next step will be raising the money to fund both the officer training and community outreach programs. Back to you.
All right, Kate, thank you. First Louisiana, now in Minnesota. For the second time in just 2 days this week, the Justice Department is asked to investigate a police-involved shooting that ended with a black man dead. This latest shooting happened last night in Minnesota during a traffic stop. The aftermath of that shooting was streamed live on the internet. That video has been viewed more than 1 million times now, sparking outrage across the country. Tensions boiling over.
This isn't black anger, this is black grief.
And the Minnesota governor getting an earful from an angry and frustrated community.
Our babies are dying. I am tired. Enough is enough.
Emotions running high following the fatal police shooting of 32-year-old Philando Castile during a traffic stop outside St. Paul. Castile's girlfriend in the car with her young daughter.
To get his head out.
You told him to get his ID, sir, and his driver's license.
Live streaming the aftermath on Facebook.
Nothing within his body language said, kill me, I want to be dead.
On Thursday, the Minnesota governor turning to the Justice Department for an independent review, just a day after the same request was granted for this police shooting in Louisiana. Police there responding to a disturbance call about a man brandishing a gun, then shooting and killing 37-year-old Elton Sterling.
I will not rest or not allow him to be swept in the dirt.
Back in Minnesota, the governor apologizing to Castile's girlfriend, doing little to calm the crowd.
I can't tell you how sorry I am for the terrible tragedy that's been forced on you and on your family.
I don't want you guys to be sorry. I want y'all to be more careful.
We want justice.
All of the officers involved in Louisiana and Minnesota are now on paid leave. This as the FBI director says the FBI will likely get involved with the case there in Minnesota.
Impacts of the shootings are being felt all over the country, including here on the Suncoast. Many in the African-American community say they are saddened by these incidents, and they worry this is a systemic problem that affects people of color.
Concerning, upset, disgusted at times when you see certain things. All those different emotions go through your head as an African-American male, and then you always kind of put yourself, am I next, or is there someone I know next, or whether I'm doing right or whether I'm doing wrong? I won't be treated the same is how I perceive it.
A local rally is being held to protest the shootings at Fred Atkins Park in North Sarasota at 7 p.m. tonight. Organizers say they want justice.
In the aftermath of nightclub shooting in Orlando, many Democrats on the state level pushed for a special legislative session to address gun legislation. After its failure, many are still looking for solutions to stop these mass shootings. ABC 7's Dwayne Lindo joins us now with the latest on their efforts. Dwayne.
Well, Scott, recently an attempt was launched to hold a special legislative session with the goal of restricting gun sales to those on terrorist watch lists. It failed to get the support it needed, most Republicans saying another session would be a waste of time. And Democrats say, although it did fail, they will continue to seek common sense regulation on gun sales.
We owe it to that Orlando community and those victims in Orlando to sit back and come up with a solution, whether you're a Democrat or Republican.
It's sad that the Democrats are using a tragedy like this to try to push their political agenda. So at this point, we don't even really know factually everything that occurred to be able to make a decision.
Now, one Democrat voted against the special legislative session. Find out why later this evening on our ABC 7 at 7 newscast. Back to you.
All right, Dwayne, thank you. New benefits for people with disabilities in Florida. Many Floridians can now enroll in tax-free savings and investment accounts, and the money they put in savings will not affect their government benefits. Qualified disabled residents will be allowed to save up to $14,000 a year under Florida's Achieving a Better Life Experience Act, or ABLE. Before the ABLE Act, people could only have about $2,000 worth of assets to remain qualified for safety net programs. State Representative Ray Rodriguez says those conditions have forced many people to adjust to living while barely making ends meet.
We've given an opportunity now for these individuals to do their best. They're no longer going to be faced with the choice of, if I seek independence and I fail, I will lose the safety net.
In our speaking program,
around 8 out of 10 disabled residents do not participate in the workforce.
The scorching heat on the Suncoast can be dangerous if you don't take the right precautions. It's important to do the same for our four-legged friends. Some tips on keeping your dog healthy include applying sunscreen, especially to their nose. Like people, a dog's skin can turn red, become sensitive, even blister or scab. Make sure your pets have water available. It sounds like a no-brainer, but sometimes it's hard to tell if your dog is actually dehydrated. And one way to check is to look at your dog's gums. If they feel dry or sticky, they definitely need some water.
You know, dogs have difficulty getting rid of excess heat because they don't sweat like we do. So one of the only main ways they can actually get rid of extra heat is by panting, and it's not an effective way. So dogs overheat very quickly.
Another thing to remember when getting ready to walk your dog, if you think the pavement is too hot to walk barefoot, it's also too hot for your dog, because remember, they are walking barefoot or bare paw, and you have to be careful because it can burn those little paws.
Yep, John brought that up yesterday, and it's so you know, real to all of us this week with these temperatures hitting low to mid 90s in the area.
Yeah, wait till the evening time or early in the morning.
Yeah. Here's John with more. John?
Yeah, so you know what we've been doing, my wife and I have been throwing down some ice cubes for the dogs too. They really love them, ice cookies, and it encourages them to drink as well. Beautiful sunrise shot from the Riverwalk sent in this morning. Appreciate that. Liza sent this in. It was a beautiful start to the day. Yeah, we had a brief shower, but you know what? It went and it didn't produce a whole lot of rainfall. I think we'll probably have another one again tomorrow morning, a similar sort of situation. Land breeze kicks in during the overnight and you get a little bit of a convergence along the coastline and a shower pops up. But that's not where we're going to see them this evening. They're all inland. Showers and thunderstorms now in progress in inland areas of Manatee County. It's going to be a warm evening. We'll talk about how warm it'll be and when we start to return to a more typical summertime pattern. In a few. Back to you.
Thank you, John. A follow-up now on a circus accident. 8 acrobats who were hurt during a Ringling Brothers circus act are now suing the company that manages the arena where it happened. The acrobats were injured in May of 2014 during a performance in Rhode Island. The performers fell when a clip that was suspending them in the air broke. Now the women are suing SMG, the company that oversees the Dunkin' Donuts Center in Providence, and the Rhode Island Convention Center Authority, which owns the arena. The suit claims the act wasn't evaluated for safety by professional engineers and was in violation of industry standards.
10 U.S. cities, including Tampa, now have tentative approval from the government to offer flights to Cuba. That approval is a major step in President Obama's effort to normalize relations with the country. 8 airlines, including American and Delta and Southwest, will begin a total of 20 scheduled daily flights as early as this fall between the U.S. and Havana. The flights will depart from 10 cities. The 4 in Florida are Tampa, Orlando, Fort Lauderdale, and Miami. Southwest plans to offer the flights to Havana out of Tampa. The decision will not be final, though, until later this summer. And the city of Arcadia is looking into replacing a landmark there that's been on the outskirts of the city for decades. The city is considering replacing a former Air Force Lockheed T-33 plane. That plane, which sits at Lake Catherine, has been in the city since the 1960s. But back in 2004, the plane was damaged by Hurricane Charlie. It has holes in its skin, and the foundation of holding it up was damaged. The city administrator says the plane is not worth repairing now, so he's talking to an Air Force representative in Colorado about possibly getting a new plane for the site.
There's more money up for grabs with the Mega Millions jackpot. The jackpot is now at $540 million. The increase comes ahead of tomorrow's drawing. Lottery officials say ticket sales have exceeded expectations since the jackpot went up. Tomorrow night's drawing will be the 35th since Mega Millions had a winner, which is the longest rollover stretch in the game's history. You can watch the drawing live tomorrow night at 11 o'clock right here on ABC 7.
We're seeing these jackpots get bigger and bigger because for some reason people aren't winning along the way.
So now's the time to try to cash on in.
I guess
it's hard to do. Your odds are very low, but why not try?
Still to come in your Suncoast News, one veteran living here on the Suncoast is 1 in 100,000.
He survived his tour in Afghanistan, but he's now facing a new battle with a rare form of cancer. His story is next.
Tonight on ABC 7 News at 7.
I think there's other issues underlying it that we can all come together and decent people can agree instead of setting the line in the sand and getting everybody set for battle.
Florida Democrats couldn't rally support for a special session aimed at restricting gun sales to those on terrorist watch lists. I'm Ray Collins. That story plus our roundtable discussion.
Tonight on ABC 7 News at 7. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
Batteries Plus bulbs keep stacks of batteries for cars, cell phones, watches, plus light bulbs for lamps, can lights, and appliances right on hand. Did I mention we also repair smartphones? Batteries Plus bulbs. Trust the plus. Visit Batteries Plus bulbs today.
They say good things come to those that wait. Well, you've waited long enough. You deserve to feel fabulous in your fashionable new Fiat 500X from Alfa Romeo Fiat in Sarasota. Boldly innovative, seductively stylish. Fiat gives you everything you'd expect from a capable utility vehicle, like a spacious interior and advanced safety systems, designed and built like a sexy little sportster. Don't wait any longer. You deserve to feel fabulous. Get a new Fiat at Alfa Romeo Fiat of Sarasota.
Looks like we're getting another new neighbor.
Now you could be the millionaire next door. Play Monopoly Florida Edition scratch-off games with a top prize of $5 million. The Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
Just because someone grows older, does that mean they have to grow apart from their friends or from the things they love to do? With Right at Home, it doesn't. Right at Home's professional team thoughtfully selects caregivers to help with personal care, housekeeping, meals, and most of all, staying engaged in life.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. Are you ready to go?
Oh, I sure am.
We can provide the right care right at home.
A young Suncoast combat veteran and his family face a battle with a rare cancer. ABC 7's Alex Redmond joins us with their story. Alex.
Thanks, Haley. The harsh ravages of combat are no stranger to Stephen Baker, but the rules of engagement are more challenging when rare cancer strikes and treatment outcome is uncertain.
This is my unit crest. We were the Buffaloes. That was my rank. I was a sergeant as well as a team leader. There's my Purple Heart.
Combat veteran Steve Baker was in Kandahar City, Afghanistan for 1 year in 2009.
I was blown up 3 times, 3 separate times. 2 on foot patrol, 1 in a truck. And yeah, it was a rodeo, that was for sure.
Baker says a lot of good guys helped him through.
We lost 22 guys our first 3.5 months over there. And then since we've been home, we've lost over 14 to suicide. So we had quite a bit of a hit during that tour.
But now Baker is in for the battle of his life.
The type of cancer I have, they don't know a lot about. So that's the only issue. So what they're doing is they're hitting me with 5 separate chemos.
We were working out and he was having some pain. We thought it was a hernia. He went and got it checked out.
Baker took a week off work and the gym, but when he went back for a follow-up scan,
found out it was cancer. Just tumors filling his abdomen from the waist up to his neck.
Oncologist Dr. Anjum Patel says Baker's cancer is desmoplastic small round cell tumor, a type of sarcoma.
Really uncommon, I'd say probably less than 1 in 100,000. Very, very rare, especially in adults.
A little more common in kids, says Dr. Patel, and associated with Ewing's sarcoma.
Going to try to be very aggressive with a combination of 3 drugs that he'll be getting here at our office, and then 2 drugs at Moffitt, which he'll be getting every few weeks. We alternate them in a fashion that allows us to be very aggressive.
Baker says he's prepared to fight cancer for his family.
Our first date was basically family planning, talking about how many kids we wanted.
And himself.
I went into this almost 200 pounds. I was in the best shape of my life. You know, I'm down to 146 pounds. I've lost a lot of weight. So that's why they're doing that. It's, you know, they know mentally and physically I can do this.
Kristen Baker says that the family is hopeful. They're preparing for the worst, but they're hoping for the best.
I'm trying to take the appropriate steps to make sure I'm going to be able to take care of our family if that's what's going to happen next, and just trying to be prepared.
Dr. Patel says if further treatment is needed, there are clinical trials and immunotherapies available. And the family does have a GoFundMe page, and we'll have more information for you at mysuncoast.com. Back to you, Haley.
Thank you, Alex. Those are some tough fighters right there. And now we're going to head over to John and get a check on our forecast.
Thanks very much, Haley. We're looking at some pretty nice conditions outside right now. If you like the heat, that is. Big thunderstorm activity in progress out there. Blast, a tropical system out in the far Pacific, is threatening no one, but it's the only game in town in terms of tropical weather for us. Currently, our conditions are warm out there. We have a temperature of 92 degrees with a feels-like temperature of 104. Not much rain in the forecast for us today, except in inland areas where there are a few scattered showers in progress. West wind comes in at about 10 under full sunshine out there, and it is going to be a hot and steamy evening, no doubt about it. Temperatures warmer in other locations. Arcadia coming in at 91, 92 in Wauchula, 90 in Parrish, 89 degrees Lakewood Ranch, 91 in Punta Gorda, 93 degrees at Lake Placid, 89 degrees in Venice, 88 degrees in Inglewood, and Longboat Key comes in a little cooler at 86, cooled by those onshore breezes. Big thunderstorm activities and severe weather threat just to the north of us. They have had persistent big thunderstorms going through parts of through the north central Florida, where they've had power lines down, nickel-size hail, gusty winds, and a severe thunderstorm warning now in effect there. Locally, we don't have a whole lot of activity. We have some thunderstorms that have been in progress. Mostly just your standard run-of-the-mill stuff, but the thing is, in a 45-minute loop, which is what I'm giving you right here, you can see that the core of these cells just don't move very much. And that will be the case with any of the pop-up pulse cells that build this afternoon. They're just not going to move. So if you're under one of them, you get the rainfall, but if you're in the periphery, you're not going to get much. Verna seeing some showers right now. Also, Lakewood Ranch seeing a few scattered showers, seeing that one scattered shower. Both of them in the process of decay at this point. High pressure, the dominant weather feature for us, remains at a location that's basically right centered over us. And that means light variable winds. It means difficulty producing showers in the afternoon to cool us off. And so consequently, we don't get a lot of showers, but we do get a lot of heat. That'll be the case today, tomorrow, next day, probably right straight through Sunday. Things will start to change as soon as we move the position of that high pressure ridge. And that won't happen until next week. What'll happen will be that the high will move north, it'll move to the east out in the Atlantic, and we'll start to develop more of a southeast wind flow, which will take those inland showers and keep them a little closer to the coastline. A more typical summertime pattern. Until then, mostly inland showers, high heat indexes up around 105, 106 degrees, and less than normal rainfall. Showers building in inland areas this evening, the RPM computer model shows, and I think it's going to happen. We'll get that land breeze overnight, and a few scattered showers will build right along the immediate coast tomorrow morning, just like we had this morning. And then everything moves inland with the west wind developing. That's where the bigger storms will be, where they will die out in place, and we'll be left with fairly clear overnight skies. Do the same thing on Saturday with a few coastal showers developing toward morning. Satellite view shows mostly clear skies further down to the south, but we still have from about Venice northward a little bit of cloud cover mixed with fair weather sunshine because of mostly the disturbed weather that has been in inland areas. West wind coming in at about 10 knots, turning southwest tomorrow morning, and the extended range forecast shows rain chances returning to more standard 40% values by next week. Back to you.
Thank you, John. Now the Suncoast Traffic Watch. No crashes to report, but a few areas are backed up on US 301 in both Manatee and Sarasota counties.
The Justice Department is suing Facebook. The IRS suspects the social media company and its accounting firm may have understated the value of asset transfers to Ireland by billions of dollars. Also in the suit, an IRS investigator says Facebook failed to comply with 6 summonses related to those transfers. And if that's true, Facebook might owe a lot of money in back taxes. The issue dates back to 2010 when Facebook shifted the rights for its worldwide business, excluding the U.S. and Canada, to Facebook Ireland.
Verizon is overhauling its data plans. The largest wireless carrier in the U.S. wants to give customers more control over their monthly data plans, but it will come at a price. Verizon will start offering its version of an unlimited plan and carryover data policy with some limitations. There is a new safety mode that gets rid of overage fees but cuts speed. And all lines get carryover data for free, but it expires after a month. It's one of the basic rules of laundry. The hotter the water, the cleaner the clothes. But that's not necessarily the case. Historically, detergents needed the hotter water to become more effective. But now there is new detergent formulated to work better in cold water. Some consumer reports say that the cold cycle is more effective at cleaning your clothes and removing stains, and the heat may help stains actually dig deeper into your clothing. Hot water should only be used when you have to sanitize your clothes.
Imagine the savings just in energy costs.
Well, I've always done this.
Water.
I've always, not for towels and sheets, but for clothes, I always use cold water because I think it is not as damaging to your clothes, too. Not just the stain issue, but it just doesn't wear them down as much.
Yeah, exactly. Entertainment news is next. Stay with us.
Tomorrow at 4 on Suncoast View.
It's a party you won't want to miss. I'm Stephanie Roberts. On Suncoast View, we are celebrating Linda Carson's 78th birthday with all of her favorite things and people. We invited Linda's favorite Sarasota store to stop by. You may be surprised to know what it is. Linda's favorite performer will sing for her, and Linda's daughter co-hosts to spill more family fun secrets, plus cake, cocktails, and surprises.
Tomorrow at 4 on Suncoast View.
At 6:30, ABC brings you news from around the world, and now ABC 7 brings you more in-depth coverage of the stories making news on the Sun Coast. Join your Suncoast News team for the all-new ABC 7 News 7.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad, and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
We are delighted to have Dr. Kaminsky join our team at the Totola Cancer Center.
I'm a radiation oncologist. I was at the National Institutes of Health, most recently at the Medical College of Georgia, specialized in central nervous system cancers, prostate cancers, and other types. At the Totola Cancer Center, we have a level of technology that is second to none.
He has a great wealth of knowledge and shares the same passion that we have for patient care.
My family and I are happy to be here in Sarasota and excited to treat our patients here at the Totola Cancer Center.
At Sunset Subaru in Sarasota, it's all about getting more for your money. More years, more miles, more 2016 IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus winners than any other brand. Stop by to see our new state-of-the-art showroom today, and you can lease the most award-winning small SUV on the planet, a new 2016 Subaru Forester, for just $229 a month, complimentary maintenance included, at Sunset Subaru in Sarasota. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
Broadway stars are coming together to help the victims of the Orlando mass shooting.
Those stars will hold a benefit concert this month in Orlando. The July 25th show will feature performances from Brian Stokes Mitchell, Kelly O'Hara, Jesse Mueller, and many others. Additional performers will be announced over the next couple of weeks. Tickets are on sale now for the performance at the Dr. Phillips Center for the Performing Arts.
Sarah Silverman says she is lucky to be alive. The comedian is recovering from surgery and spent a week in ICU. Silverman couldn't be put to sleep for the recovery process due to low blood pressure, and her hands were restrained to keep her from pulling out her breathing tube. She was hospitalized because of a case of epiglottitis, which is the swelling of the cartilage lid that covers the windpipe. It can block the lungs and the airflow going into your lungs, and it is, of course, like it sounds, potentially life-threatening. Apparently, being able to swim is not a requirement for becoming a swimsuit model. Chrissy Teigen and her husband John Legend are both unable to swim. But now that they have a baby, Teigen says they plan to learn to swim as part of being good parents. The couple gave birth to their daughter Luna in April.
Marvel is becoming a little more diverse. When the latest Civil War wraps up, Tony Stark won't be Iron Man anymore, at least in the comic books. The new Iron Man is an African-American teenage girl, Riri Williams. She's a science genius who starts at MIT at the age of 15 and builds her own Iron Man suit in her dorm room. She'll take over from Stark when the current Civil War II comic series ends. But I think we're still going to see Tony Stark in the movies doing his thing.
Yeah, I think so too.
Longer.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
At ABC 7, it's all about being here for you. ABC 7 News at 7 with award-winning investigative journalist Alan Cohn. In-depth reporting and debate on important issues and stories in our community with a featured topic of the day and a live roundtable discussion with community leaders and newsmakers. Plus a quick recap of the day's top stories and weather. ABC 7 News at 7 weeknights. Now more than ever, we're here for you, Suncoast.